So I just picked up the Native Titan X 12.5. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm coming from a Hobie Pro Angler 12. No, Hobie Pro Angler 14 180. I got it about 2 years ago. Absolutely love the boat. No complaints. Nothing at all. Never thought I'd switch companies or brands or anything like that. But I saw this Native Titan on the showroom floor of my local dealer, Rocktown Adventures, located in Rockford, Illinois. And I sat in it and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of room in here. It's utilized in such a way, or I should say the space is utilized in such a way that just makes sense. And when you see these two back to back or right next to each other, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So let me flip this camera around and show you. So, sorry about my garage, it is a little messy. That's my river kayak down there, my Jackson, but this is my Hobie. It's the Pro Angler 14. It's the 180 drive. As you can see, it's got the big hatch up front. I did add lights. Huge hatch. I mean, no complaints there, but we'll get into that later. I just installed that bad boy down there. No holes, anything like that. Great deck space. It's huge. I got a tape measure on me too, so let's flip that down. So on the inside, here, give me a sec, sorry guys. On the inside, we're looking at like 32 inches, just for feet room, just up front. The seat's really nice, that Vantage seat. I know for a seat replacement, it's pretty expensive. I put everything back here for video purposes, so that way it wasn't in the way, so you kind of see that deck space. This is 14 feet long. And just to kind of show you a side-by-side, there's not really that much from the Hobie to the Titan. It's not really much overhang from the front of that. And in the front, I tried to line it up as much as I can. So that's a 14-foot kayak. This is a 12.5-foot kayak. The difference is going to be your drives. The big difference is going to be your drives. So this is going to be something to get used to. So on the Native, you're going to have the propel drive, to where on the Hobie, everything's, you know, you're fluttering. It's back and forth, you're pumping. So the action of your feet, I would feel, is almost less. I have not had this out on the water yet. I'll show you down here. You do have the ability to pedal this bad boy, obviously. But I think the reason why I picked this up is this is deep. This is some deep, deep deck spacing. And when you're sitting in this, it almost feels twice as big. It definitely feels stable, even though I haven't had it on the water yet. But just sitting in it versus sitting in that one, I feel a lot more stable in this. And I'm a bigger guy. I'm like 230 pounds, 6 feet tall. So, I mean, I feel like I'm a bigger guy. But the way that this is utilized versus the Hobie is so much better. So when I open up this hatch here versus that's just, versus the Hobie, that's just one big open hatch. Nothing wrong with that. You can fit a lot of gear in there. However, in this, I can take my batteries, I can place them in here, or I can put baits in here. This can lift up. I can put extra baits in there, batteries in there. You've got your rod tube storage. You got a lot of storage that you can still utilize in this. But I love this design because I feel like I can utilize it better. So like, for example, my Hobie, and forgive me, I haven't taken anything out of here yet. I got it loaded with my primary soft plastics, a bunch of unopened Z-Man stuff. I do a lot of finesse fishing. That's my style. I like to bass fish. So the other thing with this kayak was I just got these Plano edge boxes before getting this kayak. And with the Hobie, and I'll see if I can find it, you get your storage. I don't know, they come with these, it comes with this thing for your Hobie for this to go into your 3600 boxes, but it doesn't fit. So I was a little upset, so I had to try to find a different storage solution, and that really bothered me. So with this, with the Plano edges, they actually go right into there. there's a little ridge right here which holds it into place, and then your latch that holds it into place. The other thing with the Hobie, again, I'm not knocking the Hobie. I've had this kayak, loved it, never, ever, ever thought I was going to switch from it. You still have your rod storage. You know, you got 6 of them versus the 4. The thing that really drove me nuts after a while were the H rails. I bought the Yak Attack mounts for this kayak so I could put my rods up here. I had an Anchor Wizard up here. I took all that off, all the H rail mounts, took all that off. Now, that can be the biggest pain because as you can see, there's almost no track on the Hobie. You got the plastic track. I added some track back here for camera mounts. But on this, if you're running Yak Attack stuff, it almost goes all the way down through to the front. And I actually really enjoy that. The other thing, I had to mount a cup holder. So now we're talking, another H-rail mount plus the cup holder mount over here. It's rotomolded in. This is probably my favorite part. One of my favorite parts about this kayak. This is a rod holder, but it faces forward. And for the fishing I do, I'm tired of setting my loose pole in here while I have a fish on and trying to, take the fish off the hook versus here. I got this rod stager, which faces forward. I can put my pole down in there and get that fish off. Again, I have not had this out on the water yet, so I wanted to test that Garmin up there and see if it would be getting slapped. I got plenty of room. Nothing's hitting that. Another big selling feature on this is this. This is so flat. This is so flat. You can put your XI3 on here. I don't have one yet. Never have ran one. Not sure if I will run one, but this one, with how heavy it is and how stable it is, I probably will run a motor. Nothing's going to be hanging off. I know with the Hobie, you do have that hang off. So there's my hand size comparison. Much bigger, much flatter space, as you can tell. More T-track, or whatever you want to call it. That's big. This is also nice. I was running a toolbox underneath the Hobie. I don't need to do that with this one because this just slides out. And you have a seat that will swivel. This goes all the way around. So if you are getting drifted or pushed by the water or the wind, you don't have to sit there with an Anchor Wizard or an anchor trolley system to try to fight that wind. And that really, I fish a lot. And when that wind picks up, it's almost disturbing. So this is going to help me big time. There's just a couple of things I'm going to have to get over going into this kayak, and primarily it's just the drive. The other thing with this seat is this goes down and there is a latch somewhere. So for transport, this seat can go right down, snaps into place. And when I took it in the back of my truck, I just had it this way, didn't move at all. So that's something to think about. You have another option back here for the battery box, which is huge. This comes right off, pops up, fit a big battery back there. The seat can slide forward. I don't have it loosened right now, but the seat can slide forward. You have the battery back access right there for your bigger batteries, and then you have full hull access if I lifted that tray up. And this is watertight, so that's going to stay sealed, protect all your batteries. And again, you can wire everything right through here. You can have it come through this side, that side, or up here without drilling into the hole. And that's one of the big selling features as well. The other thing, this is the bigger Yak Attack box, so I love this thing. I don't like to take it with me all the time, but it sits in here so much better because it's grooved out. So when you look in there, I'll just flip that back. It's all grooved out, ready to go. And I love that. Instead of like with the Hobie, you got guys running those black packs right here with your battery in it, or they're running the battery way up front there, and that doesn't make sense to me. I like the weight distribution of this a lot better. with the Hobie, obviously you have a spot for your wheels. You know, they do make, I'm gonna set this down here quickly. They do make a, I forget which company makes it, but you can put 2 batteries in there, 2 smaller batteries. I mean, and then to sit there and try to wire everything all the way up through to the front seems a little tedious for 2 small batteries. But people are using this for their big batteries and the front for their smaller batteries. This kayak is just laid out so much better. And then you've got little access here. It's like a little cup holder. I don't know what exactly it's for, but you can access the hole with this as well. So you can get down there and run some wires if you want. Some guys with the Native that I'm seeing are gonna be mounting right here. This is like for your, I'll just take these off. But back here, this is for your power poles, which I'll never run. There's no need for it for me. I'll never run a rear trolling motor either. That's just not my style. But what some guys are doing is they're putting their fish finders back here as well. So when they turn from the front of the seat, they can see behind them. And that's just, this is one fishing boat. I mean, this is a fishing boat I'm probably gonna keep for a long time. If you are gonna buy this boat, this is 170 pounds and it is heavy. This I thought was heavy, and it was so annoying to lug around that I did end up getting the wheels. But with this one even heavier, I'm probably gonna do that landing gear kit just to save my back, save the kayak. I don't like to have scratched holes or anything like that. As you can see on my Hobie, I have the Hobie Pro installed up front, keep those scratches off. I'll get one for this one too. There's another thing on this kayak that I don't like versus the Hobie, and it's not a big deal to me because when you plan on running a motor or an XI3, it's not gonna make that much of a difference. But that's your rudder cable. You can slide that forward, you can slide that backwards, or you can bring it back to this A-trail if you want. The rudder system right here, when you pull it up, it's not as tight as it should be, but your rudder, as you can see, comes down. So when you load this in the back of your truck, you have to load it. You have to load it this way, front end to the back of the truck. So with also that being said, when you take this down off the back of your truck, you have to be cautious that you're not gonna hit that. That's what I've found so far with this kayak that I don't like. The other thing I'm not sure if I'm gonna like is the pedal drive. So those are the only 2 things I'm not sure on this kayak yet, because I haven't had it in the water. They do say that the Hobie is faster. It is a lighter kayak, and the drive system I think is probably gonna be better. I'll probably miss that about the Hobie because I do get into some weeds, and with the fins that Hobie has, I never got caught in the weeds, you know, and that's something that concerns me about this kayak. I think I'll get over it. I don't think it'll be much of an issue. This comes up like so. Let me get it up here. I think there's a thing down there to help you bring it up. You know, this comes up like so that way you can clean your prop. So, not a bad design. The other thing that's really nice about this has a 5-year warranty on it. I don't know if the hull still has the lifetime warranty or it might be the 1-year warranty on this, but I can tell you that this kayak, this Titan, the plastic is, now back that up. The plastic on the Hobie is so thick. It's thicker than my Jackson. It's thicker than the Bonafide I owned. It's way thicker than the Lifetime kayak that I started off with. This is thicker. Like, I mean, big time. Way thicker on this. Yes, I don't have this wired yet. I just got it. Again, I haven't had it on the water yet. I do plan on getting a new fish finder. I have my Hobie up maybe for sale right now. It all depends how this is gonna go. But These are your two big players right next to each other. So you have to decide which one you're gonna like. The Hobie does have a skeg. It drops down in the center. So you've got your pulley here for the skeg, drops down in the center, calls for better tracking. You got your transducer pull up right there, so your transducer can come up as well. So that was well thought out. You have your kickstand, which I've never even, I'll be honest, I've never pulled my skeg. I've never pulled my kickstand, and the way I have my transducer mounted, I've never even used that. So it's just a rudder system that I've only ever used, and you can see on the Hobie, the rudder tucks away and is protected. So better design on the rudder with the Hobie. You just got to ask yourself, is one of these 180 drives for, we'll say, $4,500 worth it when you can get this for $3,500? So this is $1,000 difference. The Hobie, 45, 35. And XI3, you're looking at maybe $1,000. So I can go 35 at it, or 45 at an XI3 on here, be at $5,500. I can save the Hobie money, and in my opinion, get something a little bit more solid that's XI3 ready, and just put it up there for $1,000. So I'd be in Hobie money, or how am I trying to word that? I would be, if I bought the Hobie, it'd be the 4,500, but if I got this and the XI3, this would also be 4,500. I think if I'm going to be investing this kind of money into a fishing kayak and I want that deck space, then I'm gonna go with this all day. Especially when these drives can be removed. As you can see, I got that Hobie drive removed. I can remove this drive out of here. Once you have that XI3, in there, you got to consider how much space you have. I mean, I feel almost 100% confident that I would have more space and better utilization in here. And what I mean by the utilization is just how it's laid out. The Hobie, when you actually sit and think about it, it is way open. And the only thing I wish they would change on the Hobie is that front hatch. Do something like this, redesign your bow. Give me these kind of options, because right now everything in there is just a mess. Just give me that as an option. So I was gonna originally just keep that thing, put an XI3 on it, but I think I'm in a better situation going with the Native. I love the amount of space I have. I love how much higher the seat sits. As you can see, both of them back to back, that seat sits so much higher on the Native. It's made for a big guy. I'm pretty sure that the Hobie is weighted for 360 pounds. The Native is looking at 500 pounds. And I'm talking about weight capacity. So you can hold a lot more and do a lot more in this kayak than you can with that one. A couple of the other videos I've seen on YouTube with some of you guys is the turn radius. So the turn radius on this kayak from Hobie, guys, is it's better. It's way better. The other thing that kind of throws some people off is having this kind of stuff exposed, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing, because if I need to work on it, I can work on it. To where the Hobie, you're working in the dark, and I'm not sure if I like that too much. So these are my opinions on the two kayaks. This would be my initial impression of the Titan X. Like I said, I didn't have any intentions on even getting this, but here we are. And I don't think that I'm gonna be upset at all with this kayak. Let me just show you. I mean, let's see if I got that tape measure on me still, or what I did with it, but I'll give you a hand reference. I mean, we'll just close the fingers. That's just huge for how much room you have inside depth-wise with the kayak. So put my hand in essentially the same spots of the kayak, a lot shallower, a lot deeper. After owning a Hobie for the last 2 years, one of my big complaints started to become the A-trails. The A-trails, I feel like they just get in the way. I like to cast really low. I like to do a lot of skipping, and those would get in the way. I have nothing in the way here. I have nothing blocking me that's sitting up to stop me from doing the cast. The other thing that I liked about the Hobie really quick is I liked that I had the ability to turn my rudder on both sides. But at the end of the day, I was only ever using my left side anyways. So having one-handed rudder, I don't think it's going to be a big deal, especially when I plan to throw the big XI3 on top. Let's see, is there anything else? I don't think that there's anything else that I need to cover, other than maybe the guys that are running dual graphs. That's something that I might do. They're making a lot of kits. Actually, Jackson, believe it or not, Jackson makes a kit that goes across. Boondocks makes a kit that goes across for this and this, but you don't have to use those A-trails. Like the Hobie A-trails, some people are doing the 21-inch finder. Now Catch makes one. I think Catch's whole setup is $180. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to spend $180 on a piece of metal. I'd rather spend actually nothing here, because I could put a graph here and a graph right there if I wanted to, and just leave it mounted the way it is. If I essentially needed them closer, that's just me being picky, and I don't think that I'm going to be that picky since I'm just bass fishing out in my backyard. So just something to consider when you're looking at both of these options. And again, I'm not trying to sway you from the Hobie, not at all. The Hobie, great kayak, great company. Love the seat on this. A lot of people like that Vantage seat, a lot of customization. This can go up, this can go down. You've got your lumbar adjustments back here. The seat comes out really quick and easy. You just pop this pin out, pull this forward. This comes out, pops forward just like that, and you can roll it back in. But that's their seat. This one, as you can see, it's tied in down here. You got to unloosen those, pull it out. The seat is a lot heavier than your Hobie seat, and you don't have that much comfort adjustment in this seat. So Hobie may be the better all-day sit. I don't know, because I haven't taken this one out yet, but I can tell you that I'm very, very excited about this Native Titan, and I'm really, really excited to do another review with you guys on it to see what you think of it and me on the water. So just one more quick lap around. Again, guys, the seat I think is going to make a big difference, especially when you have the ability to just turn that thing at ease. Just imagine being able to sit up here, turn, grab a pole, get ready to fish, opposed to that leaning back that we all tend to do, potentially flipping. So tell me what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments if I did a good video or not, or ask any questions. I'll see what I can do to answer them. But if you could, just please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.